All right, so we are in the new project. That's how the whole thing looks like. Let's see, so we have the plate, and then we add the shadows. I will do a detailed breakdown later, but that's how the shadows look like. We add them. We add the fire interaction. Like that. Added some more interaction on the walls. And then the main plate, the main CG elements, that, and some camera shake, and that's it. But first we need to track this footage. So we have our proxy here. Actually have one here. Let's put down a up camera tracker. Hook this up, go to settings, preview features. It's going to give us a few points. Let's bump this up to quite a lot. And well, you need to track now. So the track will take about 5 minutes or so. So it starts at frame 1001. So if we look at our Houdini thing, our camera here starts at 1001. We could just track it from here, but I guess just tracking the whole plate might be a bit more safe. And then once the tracking is done, I will stop the recording here and then continue after it's done. All right, so when the tracking is done, you just have to solve it then. And the actual solve will give you the usable points that we need. Cool. So we have a few red ones, which we're going to remove right now. So auto tracks. I usually just put this to 5. It's going to find a few more and then delete rejected and say yes. It's going to remove all the red ones. And that's going to give our solve error down a bit. So the red ones are the ones that started sliding after a certain length here, which was set to 3. And here you go. Now we only have the green ones. So that's cool. So that's that's what we needed. Now I will remove this 3D because it's in beta and I haven't tested it out yet. I will create a scene plus, create, and we get this. Yay, a bunch of points. So you can see everything is sticking. What I do here, let me see, where do I do it? Scene. I rotated this by 30. The reason I did that, so here, if I don't do it, put this to 0, that's how it solved it. And I just want this to be straight up like that. We don't have the ground because what usually you could do is if you have the ground, and I'm pressing tab, by the way, to go between these two views. So if you had the ground, you could just select these, right click and say ground plane, and it would do that for you. But because we don't have the ground plane, I kind of eyeballed it and 30 was kind of perfect. What you can do here as well is you can select a few and create let's say a sphere, and just connect the sphere to the scene in order to see how that, if it sticks, that's gonna indicate if the track is good. Or what you can do is you can export this model as an FBX and bring it in. So cathedral, just drop it in. It's gonna bring it in, but it's gonna be huge. I don't know where it is. Yeah, here we go. So you need geo transform. Come on. Is that the new one? Yeah, I think if it's red, it's the new one. Transform geo is the green one. And 0.01. Let's check where we are at. So it's a bit out of place, but that's okay. because with this we can just nudge it into place just so we can see. So this is more to just see if it's actually sticking in the right place, which I know it is. But you can try and test everything out when you are doing your own tracking, or if you're applying the same logic to a different track. Okay, I don't know why it's taking so long now. There we go. So once you have that, we need a geo export. No, the old one. Export. Not the beta. Which one did I have? Right geo, sorry. Right geo. So you can do this scene. So you can either export this as an FBX or ABC. In this case, this was using the FBX and I only imported the camera, and it works completely perfectly fine, as you can see. You can also do ABC, which is alembic, and it's going to bring in the camera plus the point cloud. I like it with FBX because you just get the camera. And by the way, these things, once you get the camera in, I'll show you. So let's do FBX or alembic. So I did a bunch of tracks when I was testing. So let's do tutorial track alembic dot ABC limit ABC point cloud execute global. Okay, so it's going to export it. It's going to take a few seconds. Then we go to Houdini, file, import alembic. We're going to go to hip. I don't know where alembic, accept, import. All right, so I brought it in. And I think, so we set from 400, right? Okay, so it is working. What we do need to do is, so this one scales it by 100. As you saw in Nuke, I had to scale this down by 0.01. So here you need to do the inverse, scale it up. And then this is just rotating it just a bit, you'll see. So we have it in place. If you turn this off, this is just a simple correction that you had to do, and it's going to bring it in place. And then the camera here is moving. So it's called object. So object, so this guy. So, all right, so that works. If you want to see the preview plate, you need to go to background image, and this proxy, you have to go all the way here to view background image to see the proxy plate. And now the proxy plate is going to work here as well. Or you can just import it as FBX. So you would go to here and just say FBX test FBX dot FBX, a bit confusing. So you can say geometry camera and point clouds. We can do just cameras and point clouds. And let's do the same thing and execute. Let's do the full frame range. Continue. Before we only did from 1400. So that's one. I'll just remove this one. File, import, FBX. this guy. So we need the let's put geometry, animation materials, and import. You could just leave everything on because it doesn't really matter. Now, the only problem with this, the point cloud is going to be made out of a bunch of nulls instead of points. That's why if you're importing as Alembic ABC, it's going to actually create points for you. While that's why this is loading so long, because every point is going to be represented as a null object. You'll see. So you don't want that. But that also depends on how many points we made here. So if here you would do less points in the settings, you would be bringing in less points. But in a lot of cases, you want a lot of points so you can see the point cloud more clearly. But Houdini doesn't like that in this case, because so if you go inside, all of these are the points that we made, the locators. So let's just, we don't need any of them. We only need the camera. So let's just put this camera out, remove this, bring it here, do the same thing. And now we have our camera here, plate, view, background plate. So these should be the same cameras more or less. Yeah, I don't know, there seems to be a slight, okay, so for some reason I had the focal length here different, but this should be, yeah, there's a slight difference, I guess. I'm not sure why, because they should be identical, but that shouldn't be too much of a difference. But yeah, that's how you bring in the cameras. I guess the difference is coming from maybe I had different number of tracks before, so the track is slightly different. All right, so the rendering portion, we have a separate set of nodes here that we only use for rendering. So it just has one object merge here that is coming from here, from this out. What you can do is, there's a cool trick if you do this, look at that. You just slide it to the edges. It's gonna do here. Oops, like that. I'm not sure if this is a feature or a bug, but I like using it. So you just Control X this, create a render blast, Control V, and it's gonna be here. Like that. So then we have a LOP network here. You can also do it through the stage. Oops, that's not what I wanted. But in this case, we have a separate LOP network. All right, so this is how the Solaris part looks like. So we have the top, which is the beauty, and then the shadow pass. For the shadows, we're using this shadow property, and that will give you, essentially it's gonna, so this is the final render, and it's gonna be blank, but if you go under hold out environment or key, you will see it kind of gives you this stencil out mask of where the shadows are, kind of like inverted shadows. And that will give you, it will do this, right? So wherever it's white, we're gonna be darkening everything down. Cool.